Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters of the Week video. I was off for a couple days this past weekend as I was visiting Tyler, Texas, where they had a small Comic-Con there along with a ghost hunt. So I'll make a video for that soon. So as a treat, I wanted to create for everyone yet another of your favorite, in this case, Cryptids of the Weeks, with this random page coming up with a very unique creature. Essentially, it's a creature that you and I know of as is one of the most famous creatures here on Earth. But imagine if you were to tweak it with just one little modification, at least on its physical characteristic, and then the way it eats, add it just a little change there, and all of a sudden this peaceful looking creature is suddenly changed into one of the most vicious ones, or potentially one of the most vicious ones out there. And the ramifications of it, when you think about it, like the stealth, the speed that this thing has, with these slight changes, it definitely makes it into an apex predator. You're looking at it now. It's known as the Miraj, and it's basically a rabbit, in this case with one giant horn on top of it, and a carnivorous rabbit as that. So very, very fascinating stuff. Let's go ahead and let's talk about all the info associated with this unique mishmashed creature. So what is this Miraj? Well, it's something in terms of a rabbit. Basically, it is a rabbit. Maybe even just slightly larger than your average sized rabbit. But again, the big obvious thing that stands out with it, it has this very large black horn sitting on top of its head. In some cases, it even has like this spiraling factor to it. And this thing is found in the Indian Ocean in some unnamed island. So thank goodness, if it is truly out there, it hasn't had the chance to, in this case, move over to other parts of the world. You hear those stories sometimes how some countries, they are so strict when it comes to their animals and what can go in and what can go out, what can be imported, exported, because one slight change, in this case of an animal coming over either on purpose or on accident, and it could change the entire, I guess, ecological factor, everything associated with the animals there because of its potential hunting habits, such as the case here with this Miraj. Imagine if something like this would essentially come across into another part of the world, how things would quickly change in the animal kingdom. And this is because of this reason. This is an extremely carnivorous rabbit. Now, normally rabbits are not anything, of course, carnivorous. They're herbivores. They just pretty much eat anything plant-like. That's what makes them so cute. They're small, they're tiny. You don't have any risk in terms of it harming you other than, let's say, as a defense, like biting or anything along those lines. And that's why people keep them as pets, and then they make a very, very cute little thing essentially to look at. But change that, in this case, to it being carnivorous instead of eating all those cute little blueberries and everything else that you see on YouTube videos every now and then. Imagine if it specifically hunted for animals, in this case sometimes animals even larger than itself. Then you have something like this. And imagine it having just a voracious appetite, always on the hunt, probably even sometimes on the hunt just for play, not necessarily for food, but just because it enjoys it. And then imagine all the physical characteristics of a rabbit, all the strengths that it has in terms of its speed, its jumping ability, its own agility to essentially move back and forth. If you've ever seen, let's say, a fox or anything else chase a rabbit, it's amazing how quickly they can turn left and right, faster essentially than the eye itself, as they try to escape whatever is hunting them down. But imagine if it was reversed, if it could use that stealth, that speed, that agility to then hunt itself, like in this case something else. It could hunt other types of animals, in some cases even humans, if you believe some of the legends of this Miraj. And then all of a sudden this thing turns into a very, very dangerous predator. And to top it all off, it happens to have that gigantic black horn sitting on top of it, a perfect ramming device, something that could just impale any animal with just this blazing speed. You would see it come out of nowhere and then ram right into you, and before you know it, it's gone, and then it's probably jumping back and forth as it rams its horn into anything that it's hunting. And it has been known, again, to take on prey much larger than itself, even including pigs, and in other cases cattle. In this case, I would imagine like something like the size of a cow or something like that. And if the situation is right, then it would even be known to kill and eat a human only if the chance comes across it, because apparently this thing, it's a good hunter. It obviously senses whenever something is ready in terms of a kill, but it uses those same senses to realize that it's probably not going to be able to take down your average human unless, let's say, they were weak, they were old, they were incapacitated, and then that way it would be able to do so. But yes, doesn't this change things a little frightening? Imagine something like this mirage coming across, and then suddenly you see it, or maybe even a pack of these things coming at you in your area. All of a sudden, this cute little rabbit turns into something completely different. I remember too, there were these movies, these cheap old movies that would focus on rabbits, but in this case much larger rabbits, and that change of characteristic being its size much larger, and then suddenly that thing became just a very lethal predator. Here it's not really the size that changed, but other things that still makes it such a fearsome predator. Luckily though, again, it seems to just be localized within some island there in the Indian Ocean, unnamed island, who knows where exactly, and it hasn't come across towards any other place. In fact, a lot of people seems to still dismiss its actual existence. Maybe it was just something along the lines of a misinterpretation, something that people saw from far away and then misinterpreted it as something else. Although I can't quite think of anything that would be mistaken as something like this. What other creature out there would be the size of a rabbit with a gigantic horn? Something like that. I'm trying to think, but nothing comes to mind. So, but who knows? Maybe that has happened. Maybe just because of the size of things from far away, the way people misjudge those kind of situations, they are thinking that they see something when in actuality they are truly seeing something else. But that's pretty much it. That's all the info tied to this cryptid of the week, this mirage. Anybody have any more info? It'd be good to hear. It's a little brief, unfortunately, when it comes to this creature. That's just how elusive it remains if there's that that very little info tied to it. But if anybody has anything, anybody from the Indian Ocean area particularly, maybe you've heard any lores, any legends tied to this mirage creature, please post those comments below. That'd be really great to hear. So alright everybody, thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.